The plea of despair. The battlefield was silent after the storm of war. Smoke drifted over broken machines, scorched earth, and shattered weapons. The air carried the smell of fire and death. The ground trembled now and then from faraway explosions, but here in this ruined valley all was quiet. A lone human soldier walked among the ruins. His uniform was torn, his face covered with dust, and his body carried wounds that burned with every step. Yet he was alive, and that alone felt like a miracle. He had survived when many others had fallen. As he passed by the wreckage of an alien war machine, he heard a weak sound. At first he thought it was the wind, but then it came again, soft, broken, almost like a whisper. He turned quickly, raising his weapon. There, lying in the dirt, was an alien woman. Her skin, pale and marked with strange glowing lines, was stained with blood. Her long hair was tangled with dust and ash. She looked nothing like the proud warriors he had seen in battle. Her armor was shattered, her body weak, her eyes full of pain. The soldier froze. This was his enemy. He should end her life before. She rose again to fight. That was what the rules of war demanded. But then she spoke. Her lips trembled, and in a voice full of sorrow she whispered, "Bury me here. Please, bury me here." The soldier blinked, unable to believe her words. She was not asking for mercy. She was not asking for life. She was asking for death. "Why?" he asked, his voice rough, tired from war. The alien woman closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I am not fit for breeding," she said. "To my people. That means I am nothing. A female who cannot give life is already dead, so bury me here, let me be gone." The soldier's heart pounded. He had seen many things in war: rage, hate, cruelty, but never this. He saw not a warrior, not an enemy, but a soul crushed by her own people. He stepped closer, lowering his weapon. "You are still alive," he said quietly. She gave a bitter laugh, though it came out more like a sob. "Alive? What is life without worth? My sisters fight to prove themselves strong, others are taken to give children. I am neither. My body has failed me. I am useless to them." Her voice cracked on the last words, and she turned her face to the dirt as if ashamed to exist. The soldier's chest tightened. He thought of his own world. He thought of the men and women who had died beside him, not because they were weak, but because war was cruel. He thought of his own losses, his family, his friends. None of them had been worthless. They had been human. They had mattered. He crouched beside her, his shadow falling over her broken form. "You are not useless," he said firmly. She opened her eyes, glowing faintly in the fading light, and stared at him as if he had spoken madness. "You do not understand. To my people, worth is only in what you can give. I cannot give. I am broken." The soldier shook his head slowly. "Then your people are wrong." For a moment silence hung between them, heavy with pain and disbelief. She looked at him as if she wanted to believe his words but had no strength left. Her hand trembled as she reached toward him. "If you will not kill me, then at least leave me, let the earth take me." The soldier stared at her hand, then at her face. He could see she was ready for death. Yet something inside him rebelled. He could not walk away. Not from her, not from this broken soul who had been told she was nothing. With a heavy breath, he slid his arms beneath her fragile body. She gasped in surprise, too weak to resist. Slowly, he lifted her from the dirt. Her head fell against his shoulder, and she whispered, "Why? Why would you carry me? I am your enemy. I am worthless." His grip tightened. "Because no one is worthless. Not while they are still alive." Her eyes filled with tears again, and this time they were not only of sorrow but of something else. A spark she thought she had lost forever. Hope. The soldier stood tall, the alien woman in his arms, and looked out at the ruined battlefield. He did not know what would come next. Both armies would hunt them if they saw this. But in this moment he had made his choice. He would not bury her here. He would not let her die forgotten in the dirt. The war was still raging beyond the horizon, but here in this valley of despair a fragile bond had been born. One human, one alien, and a promise unspoken that her life was not over yet. And as the wind blew through the broken land, carrying with it the smoke of a dying war, the soldier whispered to himself, "This is not the end, not for her." The night grew colder as the human soldier carried the alien woman away from the battlefield. The stars above seemed sharp and distant, like eyes watching silently from the sky. Every step burned through his wounds, but he refused to let go of her. He finally reached the ruins of a broken farmhouse at the edge of the valley. Its walls were shattered, its roof half gone, but it was enough for shelter. He placed her gently on a broken wooden bed, its frame creaking under her weight. She winced, trying to rise, but her body betrayed her. "Leave me," she whispered, again. Her voice was softer now, almost pleading. "The hunters will find us. They will kill you for saving me." The soldier shook his head firmly. "I will not leave you." She looked at him with confusion. "Why? I am your enemy. I am nothing to you." The soldier sat on the cold floor, leaning against the broken wall, his eyes, sharp yet tired, fixed on her. "Because I know what it feels like to lose everything, to be told you have no value, to be left behind." Her glowing eyes blinked. "Humans tell each other the same?" He gave a bitter smile. "Not the same. But I lost my family when the first strike fell. I was told to forget them, to fight harder, to never look back. But how can anyone forget?" His voice broke slightly, and he clenched his fist. "I fought, but I never forgot. Their lives still matter to me, even if the world says they are gone. They are not worthless." She lowered her gaze, her breath shallow. His words pressed against the wall she had built inside herself, the wall of shame and despair. Silence filled the ruins for a while. Only the sound of the wind moved through, the cracks of the broken house. Then she spoke, her voice trembling. "When I was young, I dreamed of battle. I wanted to fight like my sisters, but my body failed me. And when I could not breed either, they said I was broken. Do you see now? I was not made for war. I was not made for life." The soldier leaned forward, his voice steady but carrying an edge of anger, not at her, but at the cruelty she had suffered. "You were made to live. That is enough. No one has the right to decide your worth but you." Her eyes widened at his words. It was as if he had spoken in a language her people never used. Worth not tied to what she could give, worth simply because she existed. It was too strange, too impossible, yet something inside her stirred. She turned her head away. "Even if I believe you, your people will not. They will see me as a monster." He said nothing for a long time, staring at the broken ceiling where stars peeked through. Then he spoke, low and firm. "Then let me be the fool who carries a monster. I'd rather walk with you than bury you." Her lips parted, but no words came out. No one had ever said such things to her. No one had ever chosen her. The soldier rose to his feet and searched the ruins for supplies. He found a broken cabinet with dried food packs left behind. They were human rations, old and stale but still edible. He set one beside her. She stared at it, then at him. "You would feed me, even if I am your enemy?" "Yes," he answered simply. With trembling hands, she picked up the ration and tasted it. It was bitter, hard to swallow, but to her, it felt like something else. A gift. A proof that he truly meant his words. For the first time since she had fallen, her body warmed not from fire or battle, but from kindness. But outside, danger was rising. As the night deepened, the sound of footsteps echoed faintly in the valley. Soldiers were searching. Both human patrols and alien hunters moved through the ruins, killing any survivors they found. The alien woman's heart raced. She turned to him urgently. "They will come. If they find us, you will die because of me." The soldier loaded his weapon, his face hard as stone. "Then let them come." She could not understand him. Fear burned in her chest, but his calmness held her still. She had begged for death, yet here was a man ready to fight death itself for her. The sounds grew, closer, voices, boots against stone, metal scraping metal. She gripped the edge of the bed, trembling. The soldier crouched by the doorway, weapon ready, eyes sharp. He glanced back at her once, and in that single look she saw no fear, no regret, only resolve. Her heart broke. For the first time she did not want to die. She wanted to live. "Why do you care so much?" she whispered desperately. Without looking back, he answered, "Because someone has to." The ruins shook with the approach of soldiers. Shadows stretched across the broken walls. She held her breath, praying for a miracle. And as the soldier raised his weapon, she realized that in his choice, not to bury her, not to leave her, he had already given her something greater than life. He had given her worth. The night passed slowly, filled with whispers of danger outside the ruins. Footsteps had come close, but by some miracle the hunters never entered. The soldiers stayed awake through the dark hours, weapon in hand, guarding the alien woman as she slept. When morning light finally broke through the shattered roof, the soldier felt his exhaustion like heavy chains. His body begged for rest, but he pushed it away. He could not close his eyes. Not yet. The alien woman stirred. Her glowing eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the weak daylight. She looked at the man sitting near the doorway, head bowed, but weapon still ready. She realized he had not slept. "Why?" she asked softly. His eyes lifted to meet hers. "Why what? Why do you guard me? You could sleep. If I die, you are free." The soldier shook his head. "If you die, I lose more than sleep." Her chest tightened. The words felt strange in her ears, heavy with meaning she did not know how to carry. She tried to rise but gasped as pain struck through her body. Her legs shook, refusing to hold her. She fell back with a groan. The soldier moved quickly to her side. "Careful." He helped her sit upright, steadying her with gentle hands. She hated her weakness. Her people would have sneered, called her pathetic. Yet this man did not mock. His touch carried no judgment, only care. He pulled a canteen from his pack and held it out. "Drink," she obeyed, sipping water that felt like life flowing into her dry throat. For a moment she almost smiled. Silence stretched between them, filled only by the distant calls of crows circling above the dead battlefield. Finally, she spoke again. "I do not understand you. Humans fight us, kill us, yet you protect me." The soldier leaned back against the wall, eyes thoughtful. "Maybe because I am tired of killing. Maybe because I see someone worth saving." Her gaze dropped. "I am not worth saving." He frowned. "You keep saying that. Why?" Her hands trembled as she clutched the blanket he had thrown over her. "Because it is truth. My body is broken. I cannot breed children. To my people, that means I have no purpose, no future. I am a shadow wasting air." Her words cut through the soldier's chest like a blade. He had seen good men die in war, brave men who gave everything. None of them were shadows. None of them were wasted. He spoke with quiet anger, each word sharp. "Your people are blind. Life is not measured by what you can give them. Life is measured by living." She stared at him, confusion in her glowing eyes. She had never heard such things. To her, value was always weighed by use. What you could produce, how you could serve. But this human spoke as if life itself was enough. For, the first time she wondered, could it be true? He leaned forward, his face calm but fierce. "Do you know what my commander once told me?" He said, "Soldiers are only numbers. When they fall, we replace them. But when my brothers died beside me, they were not numbers. They were men. They mattered. Every life matters." Her throat tightened. She whispered, "Even mine." The soldier did not hesitate. Especially yours. Her eyes burned with sudden tears. She turned her face away, ashamed of her weakness, but he placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Don't hide," he said softly. "Not from me." For a long moment neither spoke. But in that silence something began to shift. The wall she had built inside herself, the one made of shame and despair, started to crack. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe she was more than a failed vessel. As the day went on, the soldier searched the ruins for supplies. He found broken tools, a half-burned blanket, and a few cans of food hidden under rubble. They shared the meal, bland and tasteless, yet to her it felt like a feast. Later he showed her small human things, how to strike sparks with stone, how to warm her hands near the fire without burning them, how to chew the food slowly to make it last. These simple lessons felt strange, almost childish, but they brought something to her heart she thought she would never feel again. Comfort. At one point he even told her a story, a memory of his younger brother who used to laugh at the smallest things. His voice softened when he spoke of him, and she saw the pain hidden in his eyes. "You miss him," she said quietly. "Every day," he admitted, "but remembering him makes me stronger, not weaker." His words struck her. Could memories give strength, not just sorrow? She thought of the few moments in her own past when she had been happy, playing with her sisters before they judged her, dreaming of battles before her body failed. She had buried those memories because they hurt too much, yet maybe, just maybe, they could mean something more. As the sun began to sink, danger returned. Human voices echoed in the valley, soldiers searching again. The alien woman's heart raced. She gripped the blanket tightly. "They will kill me. And if they see you with me, they will kill you too." The soldier checked his weapon, jaw tight. "Then we don't let them see us." He moved to cover the entrance, shielding her with his body. She watched him, a strange feeling rising in her chest. It was not fear, not despair. It was something new, something fragile but bright. Hope. For the first time since she had begged for death, she wanted to live. Not because her people demanded it, not because her body could serve them, but because this human believed she had worth. And as the shadows grew longer and the soldiers drew nearer, she whispered to herself, barely a breath, "I am not nothing." The soldier glanced back at her, hearing her words, and gave the smallest nod. "No," he said. "You are not." The ruined farmhouse could no longer protect them. By nightfall, the sound of marching boots echoed closer, mixed with the growl of alien hunters searching the battlefield. Both sides were hunting survivors. Neither would show mercy to the soldier and the alien woman. The soldier knew they had to move. He packed what little food and water they had into a torn bag. Then he turned to her. "You can walk?" he asked. She shook her head, shame in her eyes. "My legs. Too weak." He knelt before her, his voice steady. "Then I carry you." Her glowing eyes widened. "Again? You will only slow yourself." The soldier gave a hard smile. "Then I will slow the world. But I will not leave you." Her throat tightened. No one had ever spoken like that to her before. Without another word, he lifted her onto his back. She wrapped her arms weakly around his neck. Every step hurt him, but he moved forward. Out into the broken valley under the cold night sky. The land stretched before them like a graveyard. Burned trees stood like black bones. Craters scarred the ground where bombs had fallen. The air smelled of smoke and rust. The alien woman pressed her face against his shoulder. "Why do you fight for me? Even against your own?" His answer came, firm. "Because I fight for what's right, not just for orders." Her chest ached at those words. If only her people thought the same way. But soon, danger found them. Voices carried on the wind, human scouts moving along the ridge. Their flashlights cut across the valley like sharp blades. The soldier crouched low, hiding behind broken rocks. He held her close, whispering, "Quiet." She obeyed, her breath shallow. The patrol passed above them, boots crunching on gravel. For a moment it seemed they were safe. But then came another sound. A growl, low and hungry. Alien hunters. Her body stiffened. She recognized that sound. The trackers her people used. They had sniffed her out. "They know I am here," she whispered. In panic, the soldier gritted his teeth. "Then we run." He bolted from the rocks, sprinting across the valley. The hunters roared, claws scraping stone, chasing them. The humans on the ridge shouted, their lights swinging wildly as they spotted the movement. Bullets cracked the air. The ground exploded beside them. The soldier ran harder, every muscle screaming, carrying her as if she weighed nothing. "Why?" she cried over the chaos. "Why not drop me? You can escape alone." "Because I made my choice," he shouted back. They plunged into a forest of burned trees. Branches clawed at their faces, but it gave them cover. The soldier's lungs burned. His wounds throbbed. Still, he pushed forward. The hunters were fast. Their growls echoed close behind. The soldier spotted an old trench left from an earlier battle. He leapt into it, rolling with her in his arms. Dirt showered them, but it hid them from the hunters. For a moment, all was still. The woman clung to him, her glowing eyes wide with fear. Above, the hunters sniffed the air. Their claws scraped the ground as they searched. The soldier pressed a finger to his lips, signaling her to stay silent. Minutes passed like hours. Finally, the hunters moved on, their growls fading into the distance. The woman sagged in relief, tears running down her face. "You risked death for me again. I do not understand you." The soldier leaned against the trench wall, breathing hard. "Maybe you don't have to understand. Maybe you just have to live." They stayed hidden until the night grew quiet again. Then the soldier helped her drink water, his hands gentle despite his exhaustion. Her voice trembled as she asked, "Do you not hate me? My people burned your cities, killed your family, yet you saved me." His eyes darkened. "I hate the war, but I will not hate you." Her heart clenched. She had always been told humans were monsters, cruel, merciless, hateful. But this man, he carried her when she begged to be buried. He fed her when she had nothing. He risked his life when both armies hunted them. For the first time, she felt the faint warmth of something she thought impossible. Trust. But the night was not over. As they crawled through the trench, voices rose again, closer this time. A group of human soldiers entered the forest, their guns ready. The soldier recognized them by their armor, his own unit. The alien woman's eyes widened in horror. "They will kill me, and if they see you with me..." The soldier gripped his weapon, torn between two worlds. His brothers in arms stood only meters away. He had fought beside them, bled beside them. But now if they discovered her, they would not hesitate to fire. His heart pounded. He could run. He could step out and rejoin them. He could live. But then he felt her trembling against him, her eyes begging without words. He made his choice. He pulled her closer and whispered, "Stay behind me, no matter what." The soldier's lights cut across the trench. Footsteps neared. The soldier's finger tightened on the trigger. If it came to it, he would fight his own. Against all odds, he would protect her. Because in his heart, she was no longer the enemy. She was something far more important. The forest was silent again, but silence did not mean safety. The soldier and the alien woman crouched in the trench, breaths shallow, hearts racing. Above them, human soldiers moved like shadows between the burned trees, scanning the ground with sharp eyes. The soldier held his weapon ready. If they discovered her, he would have to make a choice that could never be undone. But luck was with them. After several tense minutes, the patrol moved away, their voices fading into the distance. The alien woman sagged against him, trembling. "They were your people," she whispered. "Why did you not call to them? You could be free." The soldier looked at her, his face hard but calm. "Freedom means nothing if I abandon what's right." Her eyes shone in the dim light. For a moment she said nothing. She could not. Later, when the night grew quiet, they found a hollow under the roots of a fallen tree. It was dark, cramped, but it hid them well. The soldier built a small fire, covering it with stones to keep the smoke low. The alien woman sat near the flames, her face pale, her glowing eyes reflecting the firelight. For a long time she was silent, lost in thought. Finally, she spoke. "There is something you must know." The soldier looked up. Her tone was heavy, almost fearful. "My body is not broken by accident," she whispered. "It was broken by hands, by my own people." His eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" She drew in a shaky breath. "When I was young, they tested us. They examined every female. Those who were strong were trained as warriors. Those who could bear children were kept for breeding. But me, I was weak, not strong enough for war, not pure enough for life." Her voice cracked. "So they cut me. They changed me. They made sure I could never breed." The soldier stared, shock running through him like fire. "They did this to you?" Tears glimmered in her eyes. "Yes. They told me it was mercy, that I would not suffer the shame of failing later. But I have carried that shame every day." The soldier clenched his fists. He had thought her people cruel, but this was worse than cruelty. It was betrayal by the very ones who should have protected her. "You are not broken," he said, his voice firm. "They broke you. That is not the same." Her lips trembled. "But what does it matter? Broken is broken." He leaned closer, his eyes burning with anger and resolve. "No. A weapon can break. A machine can break. But a person—" He touched his chest. "A person is more than flesh. They cannot take who you are. Not unless you let them." Her tears fell, rolling down her cheeks. No one had ever said that to her. No one had ever told her she was more than what was taken. For the first time in years, she felt something deep inside, like a spark long buried under ashes. Hope. But hope came with fear. "You risk so much for me," she whispered. "Why? What if we are caught? What if we both die?" The soldier looked into the flames, his face thoughtful. "Then at least I'll die knowing I did something worth dying for." Her chest ached at his words. She wanted to argue, but her voice failed her. Instead, she stared at him, seeing not just a soldier but something else. A man who carried pain yet still gave hope. Suddenly the ground shook. A strange hum filled the air. The soldier grabbed his weapon, eyes scanning. "What is that?" The woman's face paled. "Healers." "Healers?" he repeated. She nodded quickly, fear in her glowing eyes. "My people's healers. They come with machines. They can mend flesh, restore wounds, can force fertility." The soldier's eyes darkened. "Force?" Her hands trembled. "They will take me. They will fix what they broke. And then, they will use me." The hum grew louder. Blue lights danced between the trees as sleek alien machines approached, glowing with unnatural energy. Figures in silver cloaks walked with them, their hands carrying strange tools. The woman's body shook. She pressed against the wall of the hollow. "I cannot go back. I will not go back." The soldier's jaw tightened. "Then they will not take you." She looked at him, her eyes wide with desperation. "You don't understand. They are not like soldiers. They do not fight with guns. They fight with control. They will promise life, promise healing, promise worth, and many obey." Her voice broke. "What if I obey? What if I cannot resist?" The soldier crouched in front of her, gripping her shoulders. "Listen to me. You do not need their cure. You are enough as you are. Do you hear me? Enough." Her tears spilled freely. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe she was more than what they had taken. But the blue lights drew nearer. Shadows stretched across the trees. The healers were coming. The soldier raised his weapon, his heart pounding. Then we fight. The woman shook her head, terrified. You cannot fight them. They will not kill you. They will make you kneel. He gave a grim smile. Then I'll die on my feet before I kneel. Her breath caught. She stared at him. This human who risked everything for her, and something inside her shattered. The chains of shame, the weight of despair, the lies of her people. All of it cracked, and in their place was one truth. She was not alone. As the healers closed in, their voices soft and commanding, the alien woman clung to the soldier's hand. For the first time, she whispered not a plea for death, but a prayer for life. And the soldier, standing tall against the glowing machines, swore silently that no one, not army, not healer, not fate, would take that away from her, not while he lived. The forest glowed with cold blue light as the healers stepped closer. Their silver robes shimmered and their machines hummed with power. The air felt heavy, filled with strange energy. The soldier tightened his grip on his weapon, every muscle ready. The alien woman pressed herself against the roots of the fallen tree, her body trembling. She knew these figures too well. They were not saviors. They were jailers dressed as healers. One of them raised a pale hand, speaking in a calm, almost soothing voice. Daughter of the clans, you are lost. Come with us, we will make you whole again. Her chest ached at those words. Whole. That was what they had always promised. Whole, if she submitted. Whole, if she let them cut and control. Whole, if... She became what they demanded, but she remembered the soldier's words. You are enough. She shook her head weakly. No. The healer stepped closer. You are broken. You cannot bear life. Without us, you are nothing. Let us mend you, and you will be worthy again. Her breath caught. Their words stabbed into her heart, into the deepest wounds she carried. For a moment she wavered. Maybe it was true. Maybe she should let them fix her, so her people would accept her again. The soldier saw the doubt in her eyes. He crouched, beside her quickly, his voice sharp and steady. Don't listen. They broke you once, they'll do it again. Her glowing eyes filled with tears. But what if they are right? What if I am nothing without them? His voice rose, fierce and full of fire. You are not nothing. You don't need them. You don't need to change to be worthy. The healers advanced, their machines opening like silver flowers, arms glowing with strange tools. She does not know what she says, one of them said coldly. Her mind is poisoned by this human. We will cleanse her. Stand aside, soldier. The man raised his weapon, eyes blazing. I don't take orders from butchers. The healers did not flinch. You cannot fight us. We do not kill. We heal, and all will kneel before life's design. The alien woman's heart raced. Her people had always obeyed these voices. Even now, part of her wanted to kneel, to surrender, to let them take control. It was easier than fighting. But then she looked at the soldier. His face was scarred, his uniform torn, his body weak from wounds. Yet his eyes burned with unshakable resolve. He was willing to die for her, not because she could give him anything, not because she was useful, but because she was herself. Her hands clenched, tears rolled down her face. No, she cried, louder than she thought possible. I will not go with you. The healers froze, their glowing eyes widened. No one had ever refused them before. The soldier smiled grimly, hope flashing in his eyes. That's it. Fight them. The healer's calm voices turned cold. She is confused. We will restrain her. Their machines surged forward, silver, arms reaching. The soldier opened fire. Bullets tore through the night, sparks flying as metal arms shattered. The forest filled with the roar of gunfire and the hiss of alien energy. The woman screamed, covering her ears. The machines closed in, trying to grab her, but the soldier stood between them, firing again and again. One machine caught his arm, burning his skin with blue light. He shouted in pain but swung his rifle like a club, smashing it to pieces. Another machine reached for the woman, its claws glowing. Fear crushed her chest, but then she remembered his words. You are not nothing. With trembling strength, she grabbed a broken branch from the ground and struck the machine's glowing core. Sparks burst and it collapsed beside her. She gasped, staring at her shaking hands. She had fought back. The soldier glanced at her, blood dripping down his arm, and gave her a nod of respect. That's the spirit. Together they fought, in the chaos. He with his rifle, she with whatever she could grab, stones, branches, even broken metal. For the first time she did not hide behind shame. For the first time she chose to live. Finally the last machine fell, smoke rising from its broken body. The healers stepped back, their calm voices gone, replaced by anger. This is madness, one hissed. She rejects her purpose, she rejects life. The woman's voice shook but grew stronger with each word. I reject your chains. I am not broken. I am not worthless. I am me. The soldier placed a hand on her shoulder, pride in his eyes. The healers glared at them both. Then you will die outcasts, both of you. And with that they vanished into the trees, leaving behind the wreckage of their machines. The woman fell to her knees, breathing hard, tears streaming down her face. I almost gave in, she whispered. I almost let them take me again. Soldier knelt beside her, his voice gentle now. But you didn't. You chose life. Your life. Not theirs. Her hands trembled as she touched her chest, feeling her heart race. For the first time it beat not with fear, not with despair, but with something new. Strength. She looked at him through her tears. I am still afraid. He gave a tired smile. So am I. But fear means we're alive. And that's enough. She leaned against him, exhausted but no longer broken. And as the fire of the fallen machines burned in the night, she whispered, Thank you for giving me back myself. The soldier did not answer. He only held her, guarding her as the world around, then prepared for the next storm. The night after the healer attack was heavy with silence. Smoke curled from broken machines, their glowing cores fading into darkness. The soldier sat near the dying fire, his arm bandaged roughly, his rifle across his lap. His eyes stayed sharp, but his body was close to breaking. Beside him, the alien woman lay wrapped in the torn blanket. Her glowing eyes stared at the stars through the cracks in the trees. For the first time, she was not begging for death. For the first time, she wanted to see another sunrise. She turned her face toward him. His jaw was set in pain, but his eyes still carried the same fire, the same refusal to give up. You fought for me when I had nothing to give, she whispered. Why? He looked at her steadily. Because you are not nothing. And because I could not let you believe that lie anymore. Her heart ached. She wanted to tell him that his words had changed her, that his defiance had given her life back. But her throat closed with emotion. Instead, she reached for his hand. For a moment, their fingers touched. Two broken souls holding on to the only hope they had left. Days passed as they moved deeper into the forest, always hunted, always watching. They lived on scraps and water from streams. She grew stronger, though her body still ached. He carried her when she stumbled, never once complaining. One morning, while they rested in a cave hidden by vines, she sat quietly, her hands pressed to her stomach. Her face was pale, her breath uneven. The soldier noticed. What's wrong? Her eyes lifted to him, wide and fearful. Something is changing. He moved closer, alarmed. You're hurt? She shook her head quickly. Not hurt. Different. Confusion filled his face. She took his hand, trembling, and placed it gently over her stomach. Her glowing eyes shone with tears. Life, she whispered. There is life inside me. The soldier froze. The words struck him harder than any bullet. Life? She nodded, her tears spilling. A child. Your child. His heart thundered. That's not possible. But he saw the truth in her eyes. Against all odds, Against what both their peoples believed, something impossible had happened. She gripped his hand tighter, fear breaking her voice. What will happen to us, to this child? Neither side will allow it. They will hunt us harder now. They will try to erase it. The soldier's throat tightened, but his eyes grew fierce. Then we protect it. We protect you. Her tears flowed freely as she pressed her forehead to his. I thought I was empty, worthless. Now, I carry the proof that I am not broken. He held her close, his chest heavy with emotion. You were never broken. This child doesn't make you worthy, you already were. But this child, it changes everything. News spread quickly. Both armies learned of the impossible pregnancy, an alien woman carrying a human child. To the aliens, it was heresy, a stain on their blood. To the humans, it was danger, proof their enemy could mix with them. The forest filled with hunters from both sides. Soldiers and seekers marched, searching every cave, every hollow. The soldier and the woman fled, always moving, always hiding. Every step carried fear, yet also something stronger, purpose. For she no longer whispered, "Bury me here." She no longer begged for death. Now she whispered, "I must live for this child." And he no longer fought only as a soldier. He fought as a father. One night, as they crossed a river under the pale moon, voices echoed behind them. Human soldiers and alien hunters had joined forces, driven by one goal: to erase the child. The woman stumbled in the water, her strength fading. The soldier pulled her up, his body straining against the current. "Hold on." "I cannot," she gasped, shaking. He pulled her against his chest, his voice fierce. "Yes, you can. Not for me. For them." His hand touched her stomach, her glowing eyes widened. Strength surged through her limbs, born not of power but of love. She clung to him, letting him guide her across the rushing river. Bullets struck the water behind them. Alien energy hissed through the trees, but step by step they reached the far bank, collapsing together on the wet ground. For a moment they just held each other, breathing hard, alive against all odds. At dawn, they found a small rise overlooking the endless valley. Smoke curled from battles in the distance. Two armies clashed, blind to the miracle hidden in the forest. The woman leaned against him, her hand over her stomach. "Will the world ever accept this child?" she asked softly. The soldier's arm wrapped around her shoulders, his voice steady. "Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day they will see. This child is proof we are not meant to destroy each other. Proof we can be more." Her tears glimmered in the morning light. "You believe that?" He looked at her with quiet strength. "I have to. Because without hope, we are already dead." She pressed her forehead against his, her heart steady for the first time in years. "Then I will believe too." And so they stood, two fugitives against the world, carrying a fragile spark of life that could change everything. She, once cast aside as worthless, now bore the greatest gift. He, once only a soldier, now carried the weight of fatherhood. Together, they faced the armies, the hunters, the endless hate. Against all odds, they had chosen life. And in the heart of war, the child of two worlds grew, a promise that the future would not belong to despair, but to hope.